So this is the mighty Myakka River. So we're back at Myakka River State Park. And you can see once again we have friends that have shown up to help us. I don't know how big he is. I left my tape measure at home, so anyway, we're off to take our photo. So I'll take you guys this way. So we're back at Myakka State Park in Sarasota, Florida. And I've got the large format camera and I found a really neat scene I thought you guys might like to see. It's back here in the... Now we did pass a pig trap, not a bear trap. Last time we thought it was bears, but now it's pig. But anyway. So it's pretty easy walking, as you guys can see. I've got a sheet of Delta 100 with me and 2 sheets of Ilford's FP4 Plus. So I think I'm going to shoot Delta on this just to see with a new developer, that D76, and we'll see what that looks like on the Delta. I've not tried it yet. Alright, so we already scouted this location this morning. I really like the light and kind of this grass I thought was kind of interesting. So I guess I'm into this dead tree thing for right now. I don't know why. I mean, it's all this moss, but I will probably shoot this vertically so you guys can kind of get an idea what that looks like. So alright, so we will get set up here. 1 second. Alright, so everybody wanted to know about how to set up this camera, so I thought, you know, we showed you the scene a little bit ago in the first part, so I thought before I set everything up out of the backpack, you guys might want to see this. Actually, you have the luxury of somebody's with me today helping me, so this is awesome. So we've already got the tripod set up. I've already got the head leveled. This is roughly the scene we're going to look at. So if you guys look down here, you'll see we got this is the backpack. It's all zipped up. We haven't done anything with it yet. So this is the F64 backpack if anybody has ever wanted to see one in the flesh and how it works. Basically you just unzip it. Now my film holders are in here in this top part, so we'll get to that in a little bit. So here's my focusing cloth. I use that as I just stuff this down in here. Since this is the bottom of the pack, it keeps the cushion for the bottom of the camera, and this also, when it's done, protects this ground glass, so it keeps it from getting broken, which is always a good thing. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. I leave the bottom piece on for the tripod all the time, so that should work. Over here, this is the trickiest part of the whole thing. And you make sure it's good and locked. You don't want to find out that that's going to be an issue. So we're good and stable. Eventually we'll be getting a new tripod. I think it's called Rice, R-I-E-S tripod. I'd like to get one of those someday, but alright, so to open it, I just loosen this knob on top. There's these 2 latches in the front that I'll just pop this open. This actually allows the box to open as long as these are loose. We push this back. And there's these little catches right here. I don't know if you guys can see those or not, but basically I just make sure that it goes in the catch and tighten this. So we're all part of the way there. Now I'm going to loosen the front standard so we can actually get this out. This was a trick I learned from Fred Newman from the View Camera Store in one of his videos. When I first got this, I didn't know what I was doing, so I was trying to pull this up and it was scraping against the bellows. So what he suggested is you crank this out. He had a Wisty, I believe he was demonstrating, and so just crank this out, and then this is all loose, so there's nothing tied down. So I just push this back as far as we can go here, quite a bit, and then pull this up, and you'll notice that these little metal pieces don't scrape against the bellows, which is always a good thing. Bring this forward. I'll lock this down like we did with the rear. There we go. Now obviously this middle guy, he's still loose. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but there's some little witness dots type things. Yeah, we're shooting into the sun, so this might be tough, but there's 2 like little divots right here that I just line up and try to get this as perpendicular and as straight as possible. And there we go. So all we gotta get now is the lens. Obviously it'd be hard to take a picture with no lens. So alright, back over here, what we've got in the front part of the backpack is a couple of things. Cable release with a real cable, so we're going to attach that in a minute. And this is a lens wrap. I think it's from Rugged. I got this from B&H. Yeah, Rugged, there you go. So that's the product number if you need it, GW-19-B. So that holds, this is again is a Nikon 300mm 5.6. So it's already on the lens board, ready to go. So if you need something to wrap up your lenses, this is a 95mm filter on the front. So I keep a UV on it just in case, but I've also got red and orange filters as well. Alright, so as far as putting this together, you can put it any orientation you want. I generally put all this on the top. So basically I just turn it, set it in the bottom of this little notch is good and tight. Put it in there, push this down. This is a little there. And that's it. She's about ready to go. What we'll do is we're going to put the cable release right here, and then we'll go to the next step. So what we'll do is grab this. Right here it's threaded on the end, and this is threaded, so this just gets put right there. And now we're ready to shoot. The only thing I'll do, just because I know for focusing I don't need to be way out there, is I'll just bring this back some. Alright, so then what we'll do is now we'll work on getting out the light meter, figuring out the exposure, and then, oh, one last thing. Since this is going to be a portrait orientation, the ground glass is set for landscape. So it's the wrong orientation, so I need to turn it. So with this particular camera, this is again the Zone 6 from Vermont, is you just pull these pins out, and then this comes off, and you can see there's the lens with the bellows and everything on the inside. Pretty cool. So all I'm going to do is take this piece here, was like this, and we're just going to turn it like so. And there's these little catches down here at the bottom. And then we just put these back, and now we're ready to shoot portrait orientation. And there's levels on here, so I can double check to make sure the camera's fairly level. And yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, so just to show you, now we got the camera set up. You saw that. All we did is we put the focusing cloth on, and we just firmed up our composition a little bit, so that was just a matter of tilting the camera a little bit this way to kind of get the shot that we wanted. This I've shown you in my other video. We went out to Morgan Park. I was a graphic designer and pre-press manager in another life, so I just made up this little chart, and feel free to copy it if you want. But basically it's got, you know, your highlights, your shadows, average if you want that, and exposed at. This is kind of the important part, and also what I'm going to develop it at, and also what film. So since I got two different films with me today, I got Delta 100 loaded in. I may do another one, FP4 Plus, we'll see. So as you can see, I don't have any of this filled out yet because we haven't done it yet. So I have this Sekonic 758 meter, and I'm going to use spot metering, so we'll go ahead and we'll just turn it on here. And for Delta 100, I shoot at box speed, so ISO is at 125. So basically I'm just going to change that to ISO 100. There we go. And I always shoot at f/45 right now. So this lens does go down to f/64, but you know, in case of diffraction and all that fun stuff, we won't get into that right now. But so I try to stick with f/45. So I haven't taken a reading yet, so what we'll do is you look through here and then you press this button. So if I'm going to do, for example, the shadows first, and if I look at my composition, I can see obviously there's deep dark shadows out there that's in the tree trunk. So I may just take a metering off of that. So I'm just looking through this and pushing the button. It's telling me 2 seconds at f/45.5. I'm sorry, not 2 seconds. It's half a second. There's a 2 seconds. Let's see here. Alright, it's 2 seconds, so that is correct. So 2 seconds at F45. So I'm just going to take my paper and write shadows, 2 seconds. First of all, it helps if you bring a pen with you that works when you come out here in the middle of nowhere. Alright, so 2 seconds at F45. And there's no part of a stop, so I just leave it at F45.0. That's what I leave it. Now, I could do an average. Some of these meters do averaging, so what I can do is I can actually lock this into memory. So on the side there's a memory button, so if I push that, it now has locked the shadow value into the meter, and it says M1. So that's in there. So now if I do my highlights, so I'm just going to again look for the brightest thing in the scene, which is going to be our blue sky. That's going to be in the picture. I'm sure there's 15 other ways to do this, that maybe some other folks got some different ways. I'm not saying this is the only way, but alright, so this is saying 8 at F45.3. So if I just write that down, so it's going to be 1, 8 at F45.3 we said. And again, if I want to lock this into memory, I just push the memory button. Now it says M2, so you have to hit the AV button first. Now it's an aperture, or an average. So now it's telling me half a second at 45.2. So if I wanted to check my shadows, it's telling me that it's minus 2.5 stops. If I do this, you guys can see this on the meter. So the meter is actually reading over here, but you guys can see what I see through the little dot there. See how it's reading the different numbers right here. So that's what it's telling me. So if I could say, okay, minus 2.5. So this meter is reading zone 5. If any of you are familiar with the zone system, pure white, pure black. So if I was telling me my shadows are falling 2.5 stops, so it's 1, 2.5. So that means I'm down here in roughly zone 2.5. So it'd be way too dark. So probably what I will do to put my shadows in zone 4 is, if I know that my shadows is at 2 seconds at F45, I will probably move it from here to here by speeding this up 1 stop. So what I will do is, yes, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to 1 exposed. I'll go 1 second at F45, if you can read that. So basically, instead of going here, I'm going to move it even here, basically in this area right here. At least that's the goal. So I'll go 1 second. So over here in the front of the lens, you guys can see this. There's some numbers up top here. And I'm going to move this to where it says T to 1 second. And then I'm going to move my aperture to F45. And then we'll get ready to take the shot. Okay, so we got the camera set up, and we had some really nice folks found us out here in the middle of nowhere from the UK. Very, very nice people. They were awesome photographers, and I think they're going to go out and want to buy one of these. It was great. So we talked to them for, I don't know, it's been a while, 45 minutes or so, so it was great. You never know who you're going to meet and where you're going to meet them. It's awesome. So we're back to, just to give you guys an update on where we're at on the, because the light's been changing, the wind's blowing. So basically, we're now at F45 at 1 second. And 1 second is 1 second on the reciprocity. So we should be good with that. It's already focused. So all we got to do now is put the film in. So over here in our, as I told you guys in the beginning, this is our, I had the film in this front pouch. So I'm just going to unload this. And here's my high quality Walmart trash bag again. You guys have seen this before. And I know I got one holder has 2 sheets of FP4, and the other holder has 1 sheet of Delta 100. So that's actually what I'm going to look for here today. We're going to shoot that right now. So here they are. So let's just make sure these old guys stay locked. And this stays locked. Alright, so I need this one. So we're going to just tuck that there for a minute. I'm going to put this back in here. These are light tight, so this isn't really probably necessary. I just feel better that they're in something. Plus it keeps the dust out of them and all that kind of stuff. So we'll come up with a better system for this later, but for right now it works. Okay, so what we're going to do is this side has the film in it. It's got a number 4 on it if I turn it upside right. And it's locked. So now to get the film in the camera, we've already got this set up for portrait. So this is 10 by 8. So we're going to take this. This particular camera has this bar on it. So just take this, slide this in. We want to make sure obviously the film is facing that way. It generally helps. It would be really disappointing if I didn't. And when it goes in, you kind of hear a click or seat. We just take our bar. This is now sandwiched in here. I cannot even move this, which is a good thing. Okay, so another thing we got to do before we pull the dark slide out is I was focused. And if you come up here for a minute, you'll see there's a hole in the lens where the iris is, and it's open right now. So if I were to take the dark slide out, I would have exposed the film. Now it's shut, so now I can actually expose the dark slide. And let's see, so 1 second. F45. Alright, so we're good there, except I'm going to cock the shutter in a minute, but we'll do that in a second. So back here, what we're going to do is we're going to expose, or basically get it ready. So I'm going to move this little lock and then pull this slide out. Alright, so the film is now exposed in the dark box. So now we're actually ready to take the photo. So I'm going to come back up here. And this little switch right here is going to allow me to cock the shutter. So I'm just going to move this, and you can see the little red piece of metal comes up, lets me know that we're good to go. So then all we're going to do is grab our, this is it right here. So after all this is the moment. So if we look towards our scene, you know, it's a little breezy out here today, so the light has not changed, which is good. 1 second, I'm going to get some of the Spanish moss. Is going to be a little bit blurry, but I'll just have to deal with it. And by the way, if you're visiting, don't take this stuff home and put it in your suitcase, or else you will have little friends with you, aka bugs. So just waiting for the wind to die down here, hopefully a little bit. That would be nice, but sometimes you get what you get. And of course, now that we're trying to get this photo, it's going to blow from now till next Thursday probably. Alright, well, let's just do one more quick little double check to make sure that everything is set. We're kind of waiting for a second. Or I could just take it and say I planned it that way. That sounds like marketing, right? Alright, I think we got a little bit of a break coming up here in a second, so we'll see what we get. Alright, we'll go ahead and just take it. There you go. That's it. So we took the photo. I'm going to take the dark slide. Now this, when I pulled it out, had this white piece facing forward to let me know that there was a fresh piece of film in there. So now I'm going to turn it around, put the black piece in forward, and that tells me that I've exposed that piece of film. So I just put that in there. Got these little channel lock type things. Take this, pull this out, and this is going to go back in our trash bag and go home and develop it. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this was somewhat entertaining and educational. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment me. Feel free to subscribe. Give me a likes up. If you want to buy a piece of film, there's a on the right hand side, you see a little support button. If you want to buy a piece of film and help out the cause, that'd be great. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.